Hey guys, DB Smiley here. We are now talking about Revan, the last boss in the Temple of Sacrifice. This is actually in my opinion, very easy fight. A lot of mechanics, none of them difficult, seemingly low damage output. If people pay attention, you should be able to one-shot it, even blind, just based on the contents of this guide and knowing the mechanics. So Revan can be single-tanked. The entire fight actually only requires one tank at a time. We planned for that to be Isma, but just from my own damage output and threat output, I actually pull Revan here. So I end up becoming the single tank. This wasn't a taunt or anything, I just pulled it due to power techs generally being able to do really high aggro. So what we want to do is move Revan around the room, and I want him to knock me into these pillars. You don't need to knock these pillars over, it's just a way to prevent the tanks from getting knocked off the side. So I get knocked into the pillar, I get stunned for a little bit, I get up, I move to the next pillar. While this is going on, there's a lot of raid-wide damage output. You may have seen the two blades that were spinning around earlier in the fight. Those blades will target one person, that person has to kite them around. In story mode, you can knock those blades off into the center of the map or off the edge. Your choice. You can see that purple blade coming in now, so it hasn't been knocked outside, as well as the blue blade. You can just avoid them. Right now in 3.0, you're much more mobile than you used to be, so you can use that mobility to your advantage. It's pretty much up to you. Now at this point, Revan disappears, HK comes up. HK is going to be, again, single tank. He's going to randomly target someone, not always the tank, for that scattering shot, and you just want to move out of it. He then throws out a handful of grenades where everyone gets a grenade on them. You want to spread out so that way those grenades, which do have a knockdown effect, don't stack up. Then he does scatter shot again, and he repeats this mechanic. After a bit, he'll put up a shield. This shield is similar to the Calphea shield in the Dread Council fight in Dread Palace. People want to be inside the shield to damage, otherwise it's going to reduce damage. I believe there's no reflect in story mode, but we didn't really have anyone standing outside to test this. We just all got in the shield. This does make handful of grenades a little bit of a problem, but you should be able to spread out in the shield. I actually don't want to be on the edge here like I am, because I'm wasting a lot of floor space that we could be standing in. But it's still very manageable. You just want to keep spreading out with a handful of grenades a little bit. He will stay on the tank, so he'll follow you. So I could reposition here. This was just a one-shot pull, though, and I didn't think to do that at the time. Once HK dies, we're going to advance to Phase 3. Phase 3 involves climbing a stairway. You're going to see some rocks come down and activate that stairway there. You do want to try to move up as a group up the stairway, because once people get up the stairway, there's going to be raid-wide AoE pulse damage. That is slowly increasing over time. You'll see it start to kick in here. This raid-wide AoE pulse damage starts small, but if you watch the numbers closely, you'll see it's gone from 470 up to 491 to 512 to 533, etc. In order to break the AoE damage, you have to kill these focuses. You want to kill them one at a time. These focuses don't have too much HP. If you can get all your DPS up at the same time, they'll go down very quickly. As you can see, this one goes down in just a few seconds. The raid-wide damage does not decrease as you kill the focuses. It will continue to increase until all the focuses are destroyed. At this point, Revan comes up, and it's a similar tanking phase to Phase 1, except he adds distortions, or aberrations, excuse me. He still does a raid-wide overload type attack. That, however, instead of a knockback, it's just a conal that you want to direct away from the raid. The blades come back. They can again be knocked off, though they don't need to be. But if you're having trouble with them targeting healers, it's probably a good idea to knock them off. With these aberrations, it'll leave a purple circle outline. You want to move the boss out of that. These circles move around this ring. If the circle is towards the outside, you want to move Revan to the inside, so it'll go right past. The same with when the circle's on the inside, you want to move to the outside. See the blades there? We're having a hard time knocking them back. Just now we got them all out. I'm moving to the inside now to get the aberrations to no longer be a factor. Pretty much straightforward DPS here, nothing too fancy. This is mostly tank and spank again. Another force aberration spawning. See, some people got behind me there just trying to avoid the aberrations. I could be doing a better job positioning of tanking, but again, this was a one-shot, so this is the only video I have to make a guide right now. And again, this is not a difficult fight. You can see the damage output is very surprisingly low. Even when we don't respect mechanics, we don't take a lot of damage. Now Revan's starting to get to the point where we're going to transition soon. When we transition, he's going to go up to the 3rd floor. We'll get a teleporter that comes up here that will take up to the 3rd floor. And this will take us into the final 2 phases of the fight. Teleporter can take some time to come up. It will be a small circle on the ground when those rocks freeze. You can see it there. We all teleport up top. At this point, once everyone gets up top, you want to burn Revan as quick as you can. He is doing a cast that if he gets off is bad. It does... it's pretty easy to DPS him down in story mode. Not a very high check. Just keep burning him until it breaks his cast. As you can see, there's basically no damage going out here. At that point, Revan comes down, and it's basically a repeat of 2nd floor mechanics, except the aberrations, unstable aberrations, he spawns 3 that blow up. They do not move around the room, they just blow up, so you just have to move away from them. It's anything, it's actually a bit easier than the 2nd floor. Once Revan gets low, he will disappear here. At which point we go into a final burn phase. The final burn phase simply involves attacking an orb that continuously pulsates damage, which we'll show here in a second.
Thank you.
Watch out for purple.
Alright, get inside them.
Revan has now disappeared, so the machine core comes down. We want to destroy this machine core. This is a fairly long DPS burn phase. As you can see, I am picking up stacks. I'm at 5 stacks of that skull, 6, and increasing. Each of those stacks reduces your overall HP by 1% of your total. This means, theoretically, if you got to 100 stacks, you would have 0 HP left. However, you realistically wouldn't get that high. As you can see, pulsating damage is going out. Now, this damage is not significant. It's very easy to heal through. However, the lower your HP gets, the more likely that becomes to kill you. We get nowhere near, in this video, a point where that's dangerous enough to die. BioWare has apparently decided to put a ton of effects on this machine core to give everyone nice, happy lag spike. So if you don't have a good computer here, and I mean high-end, you're going to want to set your settings to low for this fight just for this phase. Even I have some frame hang-ups, and I have a fairly powerful rig. Other than that, it's just straight-up burn. There's really nothing here else to say other than try to stay stacked up for AoE heals and just continue to burn. I imagine in hard mode this will be a much tighter burn, but in story mode it's very easy. All told, a very easy final boss fight. It's long, like Koratani, but this group one-shot it blind, having only a couple people actually watch videos ahead of time and raid calling. In fact, most of these mechanics can pretty much be raid called without even much preparation, provided you have a good group. Kind of disappointed that the last 2 fights in Temple of Sacrifice story mode are dramatically easier than bosses 2 and 3. In fact, in both raids, boss 2 is the hardest, and the only other even slightly difficult boss is Underlurker, in my opinion. Anyway, thanks for watching. This is the final Temple of Sacrifice guide. I'll see you in hard mode. Take care.